So for some reason, Jeff Bezos has decided to apparently give $100 million to fake news. I don't know why he did this. So here's the title. Jeff Bezos gives $100 million to each CNN contributor and charity chef.
$100 million.
It's a lot of money. I mean, when you're a multi-billionaire, I mean, it's not that much money.
He's not just a multi-billionaire. He's like one of the richest men who's ever lived.
I know, but it's also just kind of weird. Like, for what? Like, what has CNN done to tickle your pickle so much? So they say in here, Jeff Bezos celebrated his successful trip to suborbital space by announcing that he would award CNN contributor Van Jones and chef Jose Andres $100 million each to do, quote, what they wanted with.
Van Jones?
Van Jones.
I mean, literal fake news purveyor. Famously, the best example of Van Jones being caught as being fake news. I mean, he's an obvious racist, thinking that the Trump administration's election was, quote,
we'll
a
get
white
into that in a
lash,
minute,
right?
actually.
But no. But the Van Jones thing, right? On the subject of fake news, the Russia investigation.
Yep.
Someone came up to him with a camera and he literally said, this is a nothing burger, because of course Americans measure everything in burgers. So, like, $100 million is a lot of burgers that Van Jones can buy.
So, asked about this, the money, which Bezos said would be given as part of a surprise philanthropic
initiative.
I don't really get what do you mean philanthropic though? Like, this is not the needy and the homeless. It's $100 million to one guy.
I mean,
who is a host on CNN.
Yeah, just to be clear, Van Jones doubtless gets over $1 million a year from his position hosting on CNN.
He needs $100 million for what? He's starving. How?
He's not got enough mansions, I guess.
Whatever. So, the initiative is called the Courageous and Civility Award. Just sounds like rich people packing each other on the back.
Oh, yeah, because Van Jones is known for his courage and civility.
It's given to, quote, leaders who aim high and whose pursue solutions with courage and who always do it with civility.
Okay.
This sounds like the rich and powerful just jacking each other off.
Yes.
Or it's just like, oh, Van Jones, you've done a great job. Here's a bunch of money. Oh, very good. I'll add that to my stacks of cash.
I mean, I look forward to hearing Van Jones's coverage of whatever Jeff Bezos does in the future. I'm sure it's going to be very neutral and impartial.
So Bezos asked about this. He said, we need unifiers, not vilifiers.
What? Okay.
CNN.
Tell me about that celebrity chef some more.
Yeah. Bezos also said, we need people who argue hard and act hard for what they believe, but they do that always with civility and never ad hominem attacks. Unfortunately, we live in a world where this is too often not the case, but we do have role models. Van Jones is your role model.
But he is a liar.
Yeah.
He knows he lies. He goes on TV and says things he doesn't believe, and then he's caught on camera, off TV, saying that he doesn't believe these things.
This isn't just an American-only thing. Like, internationally, he's known for this. The only thing, as foreigners, we know about Van Jones for is just the nonsense he says.
And he's a racist.
It's a lie, all the racist stuff. So I just wanted to mention that Rory mentions in here that Van Jones calls himself a communist. I didn't know this. I never knew that he had. I thought this has to be fake.
Nothing new under the sun. Insanely wealthy industrialist gives communists stacks of cash for reasons unknown. Wealthy communists stacks of cash. Because they're for the working class. That's right, I'm a communist.
So we go to the next article. This is an article listed, The New Face Environmentalism. So, of course, it's going to devolve into communism. So he says in here, describing his own life, in jail, he said, quote, I met all these young radical people of colour, I mean really radical, communists and anarchists, and it was like, this is what I need to be a part of. Although he had already bought a plane ticket and decided to stay in San Francisco, quote, I spent the next 10 years of my life working with a lot of these people I met in jail, trying to be a revolutionary. In the months that followed, he let go of any lingering thoughts that he might fit in with the status quo. Quote, I was a rowdy nationalist, April 28th, and then the verdicts came down, Rodney King, and April 29th, he said. By August, I was a communist.
Just to be clear, nationalist in this context probably means black nationalist.
I'm presuming so as well.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I never knew this about Van Jones.
No, I had no idea. I love the way he's like, I'll never fit into normal society. Oh, I became a millionaire CNN anchor. I'll never...
100 million as a gift.
Oh, yeah, and then get gifted after my long career as a mainstream CNN anchor, get gifted 100 million by a billionaire for some reason. I'll never fit in. I wish I couldn't fit in so well, to be honest.
So after becoming a communist, apparently he went on to advertise his position that we needed, green collar jobs. So instead of blue collar or white collar, he wanted everything to be that the green economy. So go to the next link. This is a video in which someone got the audio of him talking about this, and he literally just starts by smearing the civil rights movement as a front for communism, which is weird. Like, he says they were arguing for small things and then they wanted the big things, which is the revolution of the entire country. I'm like, why would you smear the civil rights movement with that? And then says the green movement is exactly the same. Let's play the first clip.
Inside that minimum demand was a very radical kernel that eventually meant that from 1954 to 1968, complete revolution was on the table for this country. And I think that this green movement has to pursue those same steps and stages. Right now we're saying we want to move from suicidal gray capitalism to some kind of eco-capitalism where, at least we're not, fast-tracking the destruction of the whole planet. Will that be enough? No, it won't be enough. We want to go beyond systems of exploitation and oppression altogether, but that's a process. And I think what's great about the movement that's beginning to emerge is that the crisis is so severe in terms of joblessness, violence, and now ecological threats that people are willing to be both very pragmatic and very visionary. And so the green economy will start off as a small subset, and we're going to push it and push it and push it until it becomes the engine for transforming the whole society.
Right, so he is a communist.
Yeah, like in 2008, Obama administration, still a communist openly. Yeah. It's just like, wow, okay. Like, this is the guy you're giving 100 mil to.
I love the way he's like, but this still won't be enough, though. They'll do all the things we want, and it won't be enough. We'll demand more. It's like, well, why would we do anything for you?
But that Bezos quote in which he says, we need people who argue hard and act hard for what they believe. They believe. The Russian mentioned earlier, the Russia nothing burger. I mean, if you believe it, why would you say such things on TV are not true? So this is the source, if we play the next clip, of the nothing burger.
Other presidents tried to say nice things about the Russians and other, warm things in their heart and they love, not in the face of an active attack on the country.
What do you think is going to happen this week? I mean, with the whole Russia thing.
The Russia thing is just a big nothing burger.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why is CNN constantly like Russia this, Russia that?
Because it's ratings.
Because it's ratings?
Our ratings are incredible right now.
I mean, there we go. I mean, there you have it. I mean, good boys of Project Veritas saving the Republic one undercover sting at a time. But there's also the we need unifiers, not vilifiers. And there should be one more link in there, which you mentioned earlier about the whitewash. The fact that he referred to the election of Donald Trump
white lash.
White lash, sorry. As if this was a fight back against the country.
As if no. It's as if the whites were like, oh my god, they had a black president. We need to get a white president. We need to show those uppity Negroes, and that's the impression that Van Jones got from this. And I remember this clip very clearly because he was very upset by this. And it's like, yes, but you are a race communist, and most Americans are not race communists. Like a huge percentage of the people who voted for Trump also voted for Obama. So it's like, okay, what are they, like, I don't know. How do you explain it? And obviously you can't, because that's not what the case was.
So what are the given reasons for giving CNN $100 million, a complete bull?
Honestly, if he was giving CNN $100 million, I'd at least be like, well, these billionaires are going to do that sort of thing with their money to prop up institutions that they like. But giving an individual host who's a black, radical, racist communist $100 million, being like, yeah, this guy's the voice of change and civility that we need. Lunacy.
It just looks like he's buying off CNN, which for 100 mil, I guess it'll do it.
But why wouldn't he give it to Jeff Zucker? Why give it to Van Jones?
Maybe he's already given Jeff Zucker a sideline amount of money that's not public.
Well, you would think he would give it to the institution rather than the individual.
just loves Van Jones.
Well, that's the thing. That makes me think suspicious questions about what's the relationship between Jeff Bezos and Van Jones.
Maybe Jeff Bezos, I'd love to, this is probably not true, but I'd love to think that he's playing like 10D chess, and he's like, how do I undermine the socialist movement in the US? I'll just keep making them millionaires. There we go, have $1 million. There you go, and another one. And just all the socialists turn out to be millionaires.
I mean, that would make more sense than any alternative, I suppose. But like, it's not new that millionaires and rich people have funded communist movements. At all, and it has constantly happened throughout the history of socialism. So it makes you wonder why Jeff Bezos didn't turn Amazon into a worker co-op, if you're that bothered by it. And that would really have satisfied all of the leftist activists, because they're like $15 minimum wage. Well, actually, you can give them $50 or whatever the total would be. Then everyone would have been happy, wouldn't they? Anyway.